everybody. It's April Smith, and I am super excited that it is time for a Sunday sit down and we get to hang out. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, it just wants me to be really white. I'm not actually even sitting in the bright sunlight. I am in front of the window, but maybe we'll adjust a little bit more. Good morning, Cindy. How are you? It's like we get to chat in real life. Ash Cash Budget. Hi, Ash Cash Budget. Hello. How exciting that you are here. Woohoo! I am in. What's IKR mean? Oh, am I showing how not so? Hi, Danielle. Hi. I'm excited to get to chat with everybody. It's always like super exciting for me to see the. Oh, I know, right? Oh, I know, right? Oh. I know the old ones. I know what AFK is. Oh, that's okay. You know what? Ash Cash Budget, she can only be here for a minute or two. You go work at church, girl. You earn that side hustle money. I am not at all sad or begrudging you that. I appreciate that you were able to pop in and comment a couple of times because that is helpful for the channel and me. Yes. Jane from Seattle. Jane, I have actually said a whole bunch of really good stuff about you lately. I think maybe even on my last live stream I mentioned you. Well, hello, Miss Virgo lady. You're here too. Yay! I am doing well. Actually, I feel pretty darn good. Nancy Strong. She's my hot dog hero. I want you to know, Nancy, I achieved your coupon deal at my Save-A-Lot this week, so that totally saved me 55 cents. Yeah. Oh, so I want to go ahead and I do actually have a subject that I want to talk about today. Good morning, my blessed life. I am loving these live videos too. I'm thinking maybe we're going to be doing a lot more of these in the new year. We'll see how things go. But Chris and I finally sat down and I didn't get any clearance either, Nancy. But I did get hot dogs. Chris and I managed to sit down and talk about our tax returns since I was able to do our tax returns this week. Since we have a number a return amount, then we immediately had a fight about what we were going to do with that. Took a couple of days off to cool down from that, and then I started to just make lists of things that possibly could be done with money from our tax return. And I had a beautiful, pretty green sparkly list, and so I just put down everything that he said that I told him that was ridiculous and no, which we proceeded to fight about. I put down all of those things, and then as I was doing things, in life, you're like, oh, we should get that. Oh, we should do that. Or maybe that should be on the list. This should be on the list. This should be on the list. So I would just continuously add them to. Ashcash says she's dreading doing her taxes, but she started the process of what I needed. I will tell you that taxes were very different for me this year because of YouTube, and it costs a lot more for me to do. Good morning, Wendy. They were substantially more cost-wise for me to do because of the YouTube income. And I can tell you that next year I will probably not be doing my own taxes. Next year I will be going to a tax professional and I will be like, here, you need to do all of this. And I'm okay with that. So we are going to be getting, good morning, Sally. We're going to be getting about $5,000, which is a really low amount. Chris was kind of disappointed. And I said, well, Chris, honey, you've been working a lot of overtime, like since June. And that does not put us in this low income bracket anymore. It puts us in like a solidly middle class bracket. So we don't get like the child earned income, whatever the thing. Yeah, schedule. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, and next year I'm gonna have Etsy income and like, yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. So before I get into depth into this, if you want to give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome, guys. I would really, really appreciate that. And of course, if you want to chat amongst yourself while I go through this outline, please feel free to do that, and I will try to go back and answer as many comments and questions when I've gotten through my list, because I want this to be kind of coherent. So April 15th, and it might be April 16th this year, because of sometimes the 15th is the official date to file taxes. April 15th is always the magic number, and then sometimes it's a little. April 15th is a Saturday or a Sunday this year, so it will be April 16th is the last day to file. So, okay, so again, we have $5,000 that we are going to allot to allocate to do whatever. And what we did, Chris and I sat down and we had this list, and I asked, of course, is there anything that you want on the list or that I missed? You know, I just tried to remember everything. And he put in a couple things and I put in a couple things. So I told him, I said, let's not worry about the cost of these things. Let's put them in order first, most important to least important, and then let's assign an amount to them. So the first thing that we agreed would be the most important thing to pay off, or to put as priority number one, is the remainder of the Akron General. Thank you. Bye, Ash. Is to pay off the remainder of Akron General. And even as we had this conversation, he's like, but I thought we were going to cash flow that. And I was like, well, you know what? We kind of talked about it, and we talked about some of the options that we had. And we talked about like just literally cash flowing it out the rest of the way and putting our return towards getting a new car like as an option. I'm like, it was discussed, but we didn't actually choose that option. So he said, okay. And I said, also the other thing is that we're not going to stop paying on that while we wait for the income tax return to come in. We're going to continue to punch it, and to be just as a gazelle intense towards that, even though we know that it's going to be done when we get this. When it comes in, we're gonna continue to be on it. And he's like, okay. Then we were on the same page, so it was great that we had a conversation with that. The second thing that we want to do with our income tax return is to purchase a new hot water tank. We have noticed lately our hot water tank is not. The old gray mare isn't as good as she used to be. It's not keeping up with our needs as well as it has in the past. We have been in this house 7 years. We moved in November of 2011. Do the math. And it was here when we got here. The average lifespan of a hot water tank is 8 years. So had we put her in, the old gray mare would be getting long in the tooth, but it was already, I think, at its 8 years. The plumber that we had come in to do some like work when we first moved in, he said she was long in the tooth then. So she's had a good life, and before it has a catastrophic failure where it would, because it's also right next to my deep freezes, before it causes a catastrophic failure with deep freeze, either one of them, an electrical fire, a flood, you know, we want to just be proactive and deal with that. We've allotted $1,000 for that. Also, we did not assign a number with Akron General because it's going to be whatever that is. The other thing, the next thing after that is a repair for Carly. It's one of those things that we know needs to happen, and it's kind of like, has to be done at the dealership. Carly has a leak somewhere, and it is stinky leak. When you run the heat, smells like burning antifreeze. So there's an antifreeze leak somewhere. They keep telling us there isn't, but dude, yes, there is. And it's also to the point where it's affecting the heater core, where it's starting to blow the wet air into the inside of the windshield. And I'm like, I know what this problem is. I've actually had this happen in another car. So we have allotted $1,000 towards that issue. And the reason that we have to have that done at the dealership is there is a warranty under, or it is under a certain kind of warranty that came with the car. We did not buy it. We did not pay extra for it. No, Dave, folks, we didn't do that. And there's a possibility that if this is a leak in a seal in some manifold or something, they have to pay for it. So that could come up under budget. It could come up over budget. We have $1,000 budgeted for it. So hopefully it will come up under budget. The third thing that we are going to be paying is the other half of the real estate taxes. That's always a big deal for us to take out of the tax return because it's a big lump of money and we can just pay it off for the year and then not worry about it. That's going to be $682 because I paid half of it thinking she was paying Akron General in December. So that isn't even a painful thing to pay for this year. This is like the first year where that's not been like a panicky thing, which is really nice. So also it's like the smallest thing that we've paid so far. After that, the next priority is going to be to pay off our car insurance for the next 6 months, which is about $1,000, and that is for 3 vehicles. So that's for Carly, for Yellow, and for the truck that he calls Grandma. So we're just going to go ahead and pay that out. Also, something that is going to be a behavior goal is to instead of like waiting for the bill to pay the car insurance and the house insurance, to actually start syncing envelopes for those so that when it comes time, we're just going to have that. That's going to be a great thing. The next priority is to pay for Geo Woodstock, which you would call vacation. And this year, I know that we go every year. I know it's not Dave approved and I don't need to hear anything about it because it's a choice that I make. But this event is going Giga this year and it's in Cincinnati, which is 4 hours from my home. If I have to walk to Cincinnati, I will be going to this event. There's only been one other Giga geocaching event. It was in Munich, Germany at Oktoberfest, which I was upset that I didn't get to go to that. So I was really upset. But because it's so close, we're not going to spend a whole week on vacation. And it's also in a place we've been to a whole bunch. So we have agreed that we're going to go for like 4 days. We're going to take a day to drive down, a day to drive back, and then spend 2 days there. And we're going to keep it under $1,000, which is a lot, probably for 4 days. But that's going to include all of our hotel and all of our food. And if it comes in under budget, if we can manage it under budget, great. We will, I'm going to use this as a visual. Just like when you bake and you take a scoop of flour and there's all this, it's like we have this big heap of money. If we come in, we this off, this money is just going to go to the next category. So then the next thing is going to be Christmas. And we also had to agree on an amount to spend for Christmas. Last year we did end up going, I think, a little over, and partly that was due to the fact that Chris wanted a new phone. So we agreed that instead of spending $2,000 on Christmas, we are going to spend $3,000 on Christmas, which is a lot more than we have spent in the past, but the great news is we're going to be debt-free for that. So it's like we have choices. After Christmas, the next thing that we are going to put money towards is new tires for Yellow. And these last 3 things, they are kind of a clump, and we decided they needed to be done in this order. And I will tell you, like, as it progresses, we're going to spend $500 to get new tires on Yellow. We're going to put $400 towards new tires for Grandma, which I'm going to tell you is 100% a gift for Chris and is primarily for his enjoyment. Whereas the Yellow tires, that is my car and that is the car that I primarily use, but the purpose of getting new tires is not for my enjoyment. And then last but not least, the last priority that we have is is car replacement. Not necessarily a new car, but a new to us car. We have also decided that we probably need to replace both Yellow and Carly. Will we be doing that this year? No, we won't. But we are prioritizing that so that it is in the pipeline of things that we're doing. And the reason that we are putting new tires on Yellow, or we're putting money towards new tires for yellow is these tires. I actually had like super great tires put on yellow when I lived in Las Vegas a year before I left. I moved from Las Vegas to Ohio in November of 2010. And I had 10-ply extra heavy duty light truck tires put on it because I geocached in the desert with my 4-wheel drive. And it was so fun. Like, I can't even explain how much joy it brought me. But those tires here are really unnecessary. But they have been great tires, and they were put on in 2009. And when someone is coming to look at a car to buy, because we would be selling yellow to put towards our new car, they are going to want newer tires. They're old. Those tires lasted a long time. Yes, they did. They were worth every bit of the money that I spent on them because they were expensive tires. So we've agreed that we're going to fund that in an envelope, and then we're just not going to put new tires on it until it's really time to sell that car. So essentially we're funding an envelope. We're not just going to go out and do it as soon as we have the money. Tires for Grandma actually are tires for the truck named Grandma, not my shopping companion Grandma, and that is to make that vehicle safe for him to drive. And of course we do plan to sell a vehicle. We're hoping to plan to sell yellow for about $2,000 and put that towards the car replacement, so we probably only need to save like 12 or 13 for that. So I know, because I'm sure you've been doing a little math in your head, that $5,000 is not going to cover all of these things. But I did tell Chris I wanted to put all of them in order and with a dollar amount so that we had direction for me as the primary budgeter to follow. So that is what we are planning to do with our tax return. I'm hoping that Akron General will be under $1,000. I don't know. It looks like it might be at the $1,200 to $1,500. And again, I'm hoping that there are things that come in under budget, like the hot water tank. Real estate tax is not going to come under budget. The car insurance isn't going to be any kind of significantly under budget, maybe some change. Maybe Geo Woodstock will come in under budget. Hey! All right, I'm totally trying to focus. I gotta focus. Anyway, so that was the purpose of that budget meeting that we had. I felt like once we had a little bit of structure and criteria, we totally did not argue when we actually made this list. And yes, I did use, I know it's terrible, green sparkly ink because I needed it to be extra special. So I'm going to go ahead and look over at the comments now. I'm going to try and answer any questions. So if you have questions, now is the time, because I do want to just do some sit and chat with you sometime. So, oh, thank you. Freedom in a Budget says my handwriting is beautiful. Ah, that's really nice. Okay, so Ash Cash budget left, and I know I said bye to her, so I remember saying that. So Sally says she pays her real estate taxes monthly. It's easier to budget. When you do that, do you actually send like a little payment every month, or do you like stuff your envelope for it? I'm curious to know that, because what we would be doing would be to make an envelope and be stuffing it. So, and Cindy says to look at tires for Sam's Club, and I have actually told Chris to do that. And we can do that for yellow, because yellow is recent enough that it's tire size. Oh, Sally says she actually makes a payment every month. That's interesting. But for Grandma, the vehicle, that car is a 1981. They only go back to 1983, and they continuously argue with him about the size of the tires, and they will not put the size of tires that he needs. Did they mail, Sally? I'm sorry, I'm being a little fractionalized here, but Sally says stuff, and then I want to ask questions. So they send you like a bill every month, or do you like copy like the one, because our real estate taxes come twice a year. They're split in half. So, do you get like a book like you would with like your car payments? Like I've gotten a payment booklet with car payments. They don't do that now, but I've had that. I've seen that in the past. So we're looking at Sam's as an option. We're looking at like NTB. We're looking at Summit Racing because Summit Racing is really close to us. And we're looking into some options. We have $500 allotted for that. If we can come in under budget again, it would be, she made a request and got a book. That's kind of a nice thing. I wonder if we could do that here. Something I should look into. But it will be, again, like the visual that I used with the flower cup. You know, you make your scoop and you have all this on top. Anything that goes off will fall onto the next category. So, and so Sarah Lewis said those tires lasted so long. They did. Those tires have lasted. And in fact, Chris, when we were doing this, he said that he doesn't even want to replace the tires until like we really have to, because the tires are actually like really great. They are still functioning really good. They just have like a little, they're not aesthetically pleasing on the outside anymore. Like the white has rubbed off and some other things where you can see that they have some age, but they are holding up really well. So, yeah, I paid $1,200 for those tires, and like every bit of that money was worth it. Hey, Freedom in a Budget. And Sarah Lewis says hi to Freedom in a Budget. And Love God says I'm really enjoying that, and I really want you to know that I am enjoying it as well, and I appreciate you're enjoying it. So, let's see here. Oh, I gotta scroll down. Cindy says her van tires ended up being like $280 for all four at Sam's. That would be great. How wonderful would that be? If I could get tires, like, even if I could get tires for like $400, you know, it would be like kind of amazing. So, and Brittany Skidmore wants to know, how often do you normally replace your tires? Typically like 4 years, I think, is like the average life. Now, I will say, like I said, I bought special tires because I was taking my yellow, which is it's a 2001 Ford Escape, and it has the 4-wheel drive, into off-road desert situations, sand. I cannot even tell you, driving in snow does not bother me, but driving in sand scares the pooper scoopers out of me. It's really, really scary. I am terrified to get stuck in the sand. Like I can still feel that fear, but, regular city tires, not so good for that. So I did have, like I say, it was 10-ply light truck tires put on, and they were actually even a little bit bigger than like the standard size tire, but they still fit on my wheel well. Like, it was important for that. It does throw my mileage off a little bit. Not enough to like make me have to fix it. So, oh, and hey, if you just got here, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that on my video. It would be very nice and helpful if you did that for me. I would love it. So yeah, well, are you using like touring, like regular, like, I guess I would call it city tires, Sarah Lewis? So, and I also imagine, what kind of car do you have? Do you have like a little tiny, like, oh, I've been watching a lot of Top Gear. Do you have a hot hatch? It's just fun to say. You have the little wheezy cars, but you know, so. But yeah, in Ohio, I will tell you that those tires that I have that are designed to get me out of the sand, they just right over everything. I never worry about driving in the snow because I have the 4-wheel drive, and those tires, man, all the time I see Jeeps out sliding around, and I'm like, look out, here comes my old Ford Escape. Right through, no problem. Up the hill, I'm there. When do I normally file my, the W-2s, that's the one that you get, ooh, that's a good tip, Wendy. W-2s, I think that you're supposed to have them before, like, they're supposed to be out by like the 30th of January, aren't they? Oh, and Equinox is a very nice car, Freedom in a Budget. Very, very nice. I know somebody that has one. Like, they bought it brand new. Ouch. I don't think I could do that, but I'm going to tell you that that's a nice car. And it's going to be, because it's like an SUV, it's going to be like a light truck tire. I don't know that it's going to be that terrible, just as long as you plan for it. And I know you will, girl. I know it. But so Sarah said she drives, a B Max. Is it a C Max? I know somebody that drives a C Max. And they call it Maxine. They're geocachers from Michigan. So I thought that was pretty funny. So Coin Slater, hi. Oh, you know what? Actually, Kelly from Freedom in a Budget, I totally know that you have been like searching for a car, and because I watch your channel, girl, I'd be watching you. And oh, it's the smaller version of the C Max. Really? We don't have that here. We just have Maxine. Very cool though. So is your car electric also? Because the person that I know that has the C-Max is electric. So anyway, I'm totally getting fractionalized. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm watching. So and I saw that you guys have been like hunting around. So very cool. All right. I'm trying to not get lost in the comments because I want to answer everybody that I can because it's fun. This is really fun. Yeah, I'm excited like for Chris wants to get a new car, and I'm just like, even if I won the lottery and I was making $1 million, I don't think I could buy a new car. I would still want a 2-year-old one. I don't know, I'm not a car person either, so it's like, if I have power locks and power windows and it starts every single time, like, and I can fit everything I want in it, like, and that's meets my needs, and I'm happy, so, thank you. Uh, it's the end of the January, and your company still hasn't mailed it out. I think by law they have to have it out by like the 30th. Just saying. Something that you might want to check because Chris's payroll company, ADP, and I know ADP does a lot of payroll. They had his W-2 available online, and we were able to look at it online before we were able to get the paper from the company. So if your company outsources their payroll, you might be able to look at it online. And we were able to do our taxes as soon as we got my YouTube stuff. And well, because Chris only works one job, as soon as his was available, we were able to do his taxes. And because we're not married, we can do them separately. So I was able to do his first and then second for me. So a minivan, Love God says they need a minivan. They have 6 people in my family. Well, I mean, if you need a minivan, that's what you need. I can understand that. I am not a mini mom. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But I understand like wanting a vehicle where you can have a lot of people because I do have 2 car seats in my car. And it would be really cool if Chris and I, 2 car seats, and my mom could go somewhere at one time. It would be nice. Dreaming. Yeah, as Sarah says, as soon as you buy the car, you lose 20% of the value as soon as you drive it, and that's like sad times. Now, I will tell you something that they have around here, and they used to have this in Las Vegas too, is they have a sale every year after the big golf tournaments because the Cadillac companies and the Lincoln companies provide courtesy cars to the players and the people that are playing golf, and then they can't sell those cars as new, and so those cars have like 200 miles on them and they've lost that 20% value. So that's really like would probably be like the nicest kind of car that I would ever want to buy. It would be really close, but again, that knocked off value. So and here Kelly from Freedom in a Budget says the car she bought now was new 9 years ago, and she has some regret about it. So, yeah, I'm down with other people taking that hit. I feel like I have never actually purchased a new car in my entire life. I have ridden in a new car. I've smelled it, and I feel like I didn't have to pay extra for it. So, like, whatever. Or do you know what I'm saying? Like, is like, I know there are people that only want to do that. It's like, if you want to pay for that smell, that's great. I can buy it. Or, I just come over and visit you and you can make those payments for me. That's probably a really snotty thing to say. When do you think that you will be able to pay off Akron General? Let's count down. March of 2018 for sure. If 100%, if we don't get our return back, um, like until mid-March, we'll actually have it paid off. Right? So it's not even like we're counting months anymore. It's like we're like counting weeks. I'm so stinking excited. I'm really, really excited about it. So it's like I just want Chris to go to work all day long. He does not want to go to work all day long. He's like really struggling with it. But I'm like, go to work. Make some overtime. I do, and I just send it to Akron General as fast as I possibly can. So anyway, I'm just really excited about it. So da da da. Oh, look at car rental companies. They sell off their older inventory and they're well maintained. Yeah, but they have a lot of miles on them, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know I got a story for you, don't you know when I make that look? So, this one time in Nevada, I worked for Girl Scouts. And they used to send me to the outlying areas. I was in charge of outlying areas. So I would get a rental car because it was like 3 or 4 hour drive halfway up the state to go to places like Tonopah and Ely. And I went out to other places like Pahrump and Needles, California. I served those areas. And I would get a rental car. And I used to take those rental cars off-roading in the desert, geocaching. I don't know if anybody even could look this up, but there is a when you go over the hump to Pahrump from Las Vegas, when you take, I don't even know, 160, Highway 160 over the hump over Mount Potosi, which, fun fact, is Mount Potosi is where Clark Gable, where his plane crashed and he died. You can actually, it's up there, you can hike to it. I want to say Carol Lombard was with him. Anyway, Mount Potosi is where that happened, and you have to drive over Mount Potosi, over that hump from Las Vegas to go to Pahrump. Which also, another random fact, is the closest prostitution to Las Vegas. It's legal. It's in Nye County. It's literally like right on the county line. So when you would go over the hump to Pahrump, as you're coming over the hump, there is Level Canyon Road, and it's a paved road that goes into Level Canyon, and then at the end of it, it goes, there is it. You can turn onto this dirt road, and it is a Forestry Service road, and it goes behind kind of like another mountainy, plateauy mesa, and down around, and then eventually meets back up with 160, and it is 4-wheel drive recommended. I took my compact rental car all the way down it. So I'm like, I'm real sketchy about those rental cars, so just saying. I totally have done that. I've done some naughty things. Oh, Carol Lombard died and he didn't. Sally. Okay, so Sally knows. Anyway, that plane crash, that where that happened is right there. So anyway, it used to be a joke in the Las Vegas geocaching community that Holly had taken her rental car there. Ha ha ha! Holly went there in a rental car. Ha ha ha! Like, essentially that I was always going in an inappropriate vehicle to the inappropriate to the train. All right, I'm gonna focus on comments again because now that I told you that funny story, like, and Sally says, and I think she's talking because Cindy said, look at a rental car, which started that tangent story. Sally says they smell. They do smell sometimes. And yes, woohoo for March. I am so excited about March, and literally I'm counting down the weeks. And it's like one of those things where I'm like, every time I make a payment or I find a little bit of money, I go into my spreadsheet and I change the payment amount, and then I click like 2 spreadsheets down, 2 tabs down, to see if how much it's changed, if I can bring that back a week. Like, because it's like looking at that and I'm like, oh, I need to find, hey, Prudential, I found like $70 and it's pulled me back an extra week or something like that. So I totally have like short timer's disease when it comes to that. I'm totally like, how can I make an extra $500? Like kind of like outlandish, but like I'm into it. So, yeah. So, when you're debt free, are you going to do anything to celebrate? I don't know. I don't know that I had, like, there's nothing that was like coming to mind that was already planned. Probably we'll go out to eat somewhere and I'll eat some steak because I can eat that out because I'm on that ketogenic diet. It's really good. We're going to go to Outback. Oh, so good for Chris's birthday. Well, thank you. I'm an exciting person. I just want you to know that I worked with teenagers at Girl Scouts, and if you are not excited, they know. They can smell baloney. So it's like for real. I get like super excited about everything. Hey, Cheap Chirpin. So, oh, these stories. I have tons of goofy. I've done so much crazy, goofy stuff. So I feel like Freedom in a Budget, she says that off-roading is so much fun, and it's like here in Ohio and maybe even in Florida it's going to be like this too, is like they do mud. Like they get sloppy in the mud. Like in Nevada we just be like rolling over and like, I don't know, it's not a muddy thing, it's kind of like I don't know, it's a different thing, it's a different flavor, and it's like, are you interested in that? Of course you get dirty doing that though, like, but I don't know. Oh man, I used to come home so dirty from geocaching. You know what, maybe one of these days I will get some pictures together and show you some stuff. So you know what, El Cruz, you can totally be so determined. Nobody starts out like super duper hardcore, so I mean that's something that is a truth. Okay, and then Sally talked about Carol Lombard. She died, and that's very sad. Oh, and then they talk about okay, there's some talk about the Cheesecake Factory. Oh yes, love the mud. I don't love mud, but I like to drive around in the mud. I don't like to actually drive. I just like to ride along. I love cheesecake, but I can't eat cheesecake because of the milk. It does unpleasant things to me and in turn to those around me. But also I will tell you that tiramisu is like my most favorite thing. I am not planning to pay my debt off live. I would like to do that, but I'm actually, you know what? Prudent Joy asks a good question, and before I get too far off, you know what I have actually been thinking about doing, because of I want the finality of it, and I do want something more than just like bill pay. I have actually been thinking about taking cash money into Akron General and going into the business office and like being like, I have come and brought you money. Take this from me. Unburden me. And maybe even bringing like a cake or something, because I know that those ladies, I've talked to them, like, yeah, it would be awesome to do it in cash. Like, I know it's like, I do worry a tad though that like, because there are some places that don't take cash, do it in ones. Oh my goodness. I snorted. Like, I could just picture it, like I would have like my 31 bag and I would unzip it and it would be like, you know, like like a whole bunch of ones. Like I could just see them like oh, that would be amazing to like film too. Oh, and the thing is that like always, whenever you pay something off, that would be, I always worry about like the finance charges, because like you pay off your credit card and then 2 weeks later when you're because they bill bi-monthly a lot of times, they would be um like $1.89 in like interest service fees or something, and it just like, I don't have any, there is no interest on this, but it would just be like a live person saying it's done. Like no one's gonna, and I could get a freaking, yes, you know what I'm talking about, residual interest. Like an actual receipt. Like, I wonder if I could do that. You know what? Maybe we're going to do some, maybe that's how we're going to do it. You guys have really given me an idea. Oh, and Miss Virgo lady, like that was great. We made a list of everything and we put it in order, and then actually, like I said, I feel like this is going to help me for the entire year, because I know that we're not going to pay off all of these things with just the tax return, but together we have set priorities that we can do through the whole year. And that makes me very, very happy, because when Chris is on board, things are better. Because he is very checked out. He gets really stressed out by the money part of it, and I like to be just completely immersed in it. Like I said, I like to go in and say, if I paid an extra $5 this week and I take this much and this much, and then I'm going to look 2 spreadsheets down and see how that affected it, and I love to have my little fingers in it. I really, really like that, and he can't do that. He wants to make a decision and then roll it around and make another decision about the same thing, and I'm like, you gotta stop doing that. We can't do that. We've made it. I wrote it down. So that's part of the reason this works out for us like it does, because I make him make a decision and then we can't do this. So I am going to be saving a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and that is different than this, because we are going to just be saving every week, like the 15% rule kind of thing. I know it is not exactly right, but we are going to be doing the 15% of his income is just automatically going to go into savings until we hit that that amount. And I just filmed this, and I know you didn't see it yet. Yeah, I know. Cindy's right. Write it in the planner, because once I write it in the planner, it can't change ever. That's actually one of my February goals, is to get that number hard and fast. So I need to do like a really good job. Car insurance, real estate tax, how much that actually is, electric, gas, internet. Like, I'm gonna literally put everything in there as if things just stopped. If it just randomly we stopped having income, because you can't get out of your cell phone contract in the middle of, and a lot of people can't get out of their TV contracts and things like that. So I'm going to put it together as if we would have to keep paying for that. If something happened, let's say Chris lost his job completely, there would be things we would get rid of. Sad internet. But we would have control, but it wouldn't happen that first month or even that second month, maybe even 3. It might be that 4th month that it gets done. But yes, that is going to be a priority. And like I said, 15% of his income, we're going to be putting towards that off the top. And I could honestly say, once we are not paying towards Akron General, because we pay, honestly, like more than half of his income some months towards that, I feel like we're just going to be playing with so much more money. Like, it's exactly like Dave Ramsey says. It's like all of a sudden when you have no payments, you have all this money. Like, and it's like the same amount of money that you had. It just feels so different. So, and that's something I also was trying to communicate to him when we were doing this list, that while this list is big, and these are $1,000, I'm like, we're paying $1,500 $1,800 towards Akron General, like every month that you're doing all this overtime, we're going to be able to knock every month 1 or 2 of these off. Like, it's going to go really fast, much faster than you think. Because if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are in the $1,000 or under, okay, so we're probably going to knock at least 3 or 4 of those out just with the initial tax. We're going to be halfway through the list already. And then 2 or 3 months after that, we're going to be halfway through that. Like, that's like a truth bomb. Like, boom. That is a real change in reality for us. So, yeah. And it is for real. If I write it in the planner, it doesn't get changed. Cindy tried to get me to change fasting days, and there was an argument about it. Not like a serious one, but I'm like, but. So, okay, so we've been going for 45 minutes. I don't want to go more than an hour, but I still want to answer any questions that you have. I want to be available to, I want to be available to chat with you guys, whatever needs that you might have for me that I'm not meeting in my regular videos. I would like to attempt to meet those needs at this time. I also worked in a call center for a long time where I had to say stuff like that. But I am serious. If you have questions, I really appreciate every single one of you that has been here. And, oh, hey, you know what this is? This is a pashmina that I got when my job sent me to New York City. Actually, they sent me to Briarcliff Manor. Oh my gosh, I love folding towels. And where the Edith Macy Center is, and just a fun fact, Briarcliff, New York is also where the Clintons live, although I don't know where their house is and I've not been there. We did go into the city. We did take the train in, and I got this pashmina from a street vendor way more than 10 years ago for like $15. Folding towels is the best. I just love it. It's my favorite thing. So, but yeah, I got this. I love it. I also got a very, very fake Chanel purse. Yeah, no, Coach. I got a very fake Coach bag, which I love. And I think I finally got rid of because the strap broke, and I was very sad. And it was a good purse. It fooled a lot of people. You make the kids fold. That's the best part, Cindy. It's the best part. I'm going to be trying to do these regularly. I really like the Sunday. I feel like the Sunday I can give you an hour, and it may or may not happen, but I like doing the grocery one live where I do like 30 minutes on Thursday evening, because I feel like it talks about a different subject, and it gives people that aren't available on a Sunday morning the opportunity to chat. So, oh. Laughing at Prudent Joy's comment. I'll do the towels, thank you. I actually purposely 100% when I sort the laundry. If you watch my vlog channel, which I would really like you to subscribe to, but guys, by the way, I don't need you to watch it. I got my watch minutes. I have my loyal core. I just need some subscribers on the vlog channel. I sort my laundry. I don't sort them by color. I'm not like that. But I sort them into kids' clothes because I hate that the most because it's 1,000 little pieces. And I always do that load. I do the kids' clothes, socks, and underwear because it's like 1,000,000 little pieces and I hate it the most. So I do that when I have the most energy to get it done. And then the second load is grown-up clothes. So like when the first load is full, I would do grown-up clothes in that too. Jeans, shirts, stuff. When that the first load's full, the second load would be like my kind of like this, or my pants, those sort of things. And that second load I would top off with wash rags and like hand towels because they fold fast and they're good to fill up the load. I always have a load of Chris's clothes from work, and those need to be done by themselves because they are a special kind of filthy that will sully everything they touch. So you cannot wash anything except black towels with them. And that's what I use to fill out that load. And then I always have my last load that I save. I save it and savor it, is the rest of the towels and wash rags. So, hi, Betty. So I love laundry. Laundry is one of my most favorite things to do, followed by vacuuming, and both of them I love for the same reason, because I can do something, and then there's this machine that really does all the work. And with laundry, I can start it and do something else, so I feel like twice as productive, and then come back to it and do something, and then go do something else. So I really, really like that. It just, for my personality, it just works for me. And then also, like I say, put those towels at the end so that I can look forward to it. And because towels, you can fold one towel, and yeah, exactly. I know I'm at the end when I get the reward of towels. And sometimes when you do towels, you can just throw them over your arm. I don't have to take a basket upstairs. It's like I can just be done. I don't have to bring anything back down. It's just like I can take them and be done. And you fold one and it feels like half the load's done. You fold four and literally you have like two left. It goes so fast. And it's so satisfying. And it's, at least in my bathroom, I have them out like stacked. I just throw them on the pile and they're done. I don't have to open a drawer. I don't have to arrange them. It just is done. And I love that. So they are definitely my treat at the end. Oh, and also there is a second type of load that I will totally, oh yeah, I don't like that sock thing. That I engineer sometimes midway, like between the kids' load and Chris's clothes, is I call it a no fold load. And that's when I have kids' dresses, kids' costumes, and like their lovey blankets, because I don't have to fold any of that stuff. They all just go in the costume drawer. Sometimes I will I don't like to take anything upstairs to put away. So like all of my clothes I don't care to put away, but the kids' clothes, anything that's on the first floor, I get put away like that. So I don't know. It did take me 2 weeks to put away my last, like, it literally took me 2 weeks to put the upstairs clothes away last time. Like, so we all have our our foibles, right? So just double checking to see if I've answered everything. Oh, I don't iron. I just don't do it. Okay, I take that back, because I do own like 7 irons. I love to iron quilting. I love to sew my pieces together and iron the seam allowance. It is so satisfying. Steam. I have a steamer. I got one for Christmas. I've never opened it. In fact, random fact, it's right here. I'm much more likely to do this. I feel like this is not terrible. I feel like I would do this, but I'm not going to get clothes out. I'm just not going to iron. I will iron stuff for quilting, but now, let me ask you this, Prudent Joy, because I'm really curious, Miss Julia. When you say iron your pants, do you just iron them to get the wrinkles out, or do you iron them so they have that front crease in them? Is that front crease a thing still, or is that like something people used to do? I'm curious about that. Because you know what I think of when I think of that? The terrible nightmare of the polyester pants that have that seam sewn in the front. You know what I'm talking about, right? Men's dress pants still have the front crease. See, I'm not put together then. Dudes, you go for it, dudes. I just can't do it. Ironing, yeah, see, ironing something like, literally, this ironing is something that my mom does. But yeah, like I'm with Kelly. I'm like, this is what's gonna work for me, because if I have to iron a shirt, it's to get wrinkles out, not to make it look particularly. I know that making it crisp does, like, but I'm not trying to put like the crease here or anything either. So, but women's dress pants, Sally, or men's dress pants? I do like the way men look in a nice dress shirt and a tie. Um, oh, hey, Cheap Chirpin's got it. Girl, you got it. Her husband does it. Nice. Cheap Chirpin is looking for subscribers too, by the way, guys. Ash Cash Budget and Cheap Chirping is also they're both looking for subscribers. So when you're subscribing to AHS Vlogs, you should look them up and subscribe to them too. So just saying. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Okay, so we are at 55 minutes, so we're going to begin the official wrap-up process. So this is last call for questions and fun times. And again, I do want to say how much I really, really, really appreciate that you guys came and chatted with me today. I'm having a really good time, and it's just fun to have a little bit of structure and then have time to just go ahead and thank you, Cindy, for subscribing to them both. Yay! Yes, I feel like live streams are super fun. And if I can get there when they're live, they're even more fun. But I do like to watch them even after the fact. So if you're here after the fact, hey, appreciate you too. Yay! So it would be nice to have a live cooking show. That would be like a little bit of a technical feat because you would have to set that up. But it would be fun. You know who does that? Dining on a Dime. They do that stuff sometimes. They have like an hour and a half long live stream they do every week, and that's good time. So, hey Sarah, thanks for subscribing to Cheap Chirpin last time. That's cool. Thanks, Betty. I am gonna have a great day. Just so that you know what's on the schedule today. Today, Chris is going to my mom's house to get up under her car to find out what she's dragging around. She says she hit a possum or something in the road, or a groundhog or something, and her car is like really low to the ground, and something's been dragging ever since. He did get under there to make sure it was not still the groundhog, but now he needs to like resecure a heat shield or something. I don't know, man. Chris stuff. It's Chris stuff. And then he's going to go to his dad's and replace a belt tensioner. Again, I can say the words, but I don't know a whole lot else after that. So that means today I'm going to do some editing of my grocery haul, which will be out tomorrow. And let's just tease this. Hams were $3 off at Aldi's. The Christmas hams finally went on sale. Yeah, uh-oh is right. I'm going to be glad when No Spend January is going to be over. I'm looking forward to buying stuff again. But at the same time, I still have a really full freezer that I need to use up stuff. So, okay, guys, I think that I have... oh, the Fundamental Home does a live cooking thing too. I know that she does. I know she does the live Bible study in the morning. And then I know that she does food hauls live sometimes. I must have missed those. That's a good channel to watch too. So, yeah, I'm so ready to spend. But, I'm pulling a Wendy Valencia. I got like everything in my Amazon cart right now. But, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and say again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my vlog channel. Thumbs up this video if you have not done that already. Yeah, I do too. She's interesting to watch. She's in such a different situation than me, and I did actually sit down, but percentage-wise, like percentage of income and things like to debt, like we are very much aligned. So it's like I know what she's doing feels very much like what I'm doing, and it's very, very fun to watch. So bye guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Have a good day.